Hello YouTube. I'm going to discuss the alleged death of Osama bin Laden on May 1st of 2011. Now, there are so many layers to this story in terms of its absurdity, and in terms of, even if we accept the official story, there are a variety of questions that one should ask regarding this situation. Now, the first and perhaps most obvious place to begin, if you are capable of thinking at an elementary level, is the fact that when someone says something, when someone makes an extraordinary claim especially, the rational thing to do is demand evidence. Now, if someone on the street were to tell me that something extraordinary happened, or if they were to tell me anything, I would ask for evidence. Now, the fact of the matter is that the government routinely lies. In addition to committing mass murder, but as most relevant here, perhaps, they routinely lie. Numerous examples of this. Rumsfeld saying he knew the exact location of the WMDs, that is, weapons of mass destruction, and then recanting that, or claiming he never said it, etc. We have Homeland Security saying that they do not store the images that come from the body scanners, then later admitting that they do store them, or rather someone proved that they did store them. We have Obama's campaign promises, promising to close Guantanamo, scale down the wars, bring the troops home, etc., and not fulfilling those promises, rather escalating the occupation of Afghanistan. We have a whole slew of lies from our government, and so the notion that we should trust them unquestioningly when they say something just boggles the mind. The fact that people say, they said that we killed Osama bin Laden on May 1st of 2011, and thus we did kill him on May 1st, 2011. And this is the reasoning of people. This is the reasoning of a lobotomized, roboticized, idiotic populace that cannot question at the most basic level. So, initially, no evidence was provided regarding his alleged assassination by the United States government on May 1st of 2011. Then they came out with photos which were later proven to be fake. Most recently, we've seen bin Laden videos of him speaking and watching video footage of himself that have proven to be, 3 of the 4, I believe, have proven to be the same videos as videos that were released 3 to 4 years ago with the background changed. We know that the CIA has admitted to faking bin Laden videos. I mean, do you not know that the CIA, do you not think they have equipment to fake videos? Or, you don't think they have high-tech equipment of some sort? You think they're just operating out of a cave in Afghanistan or something? But just the level of gullibility of individuals to simply accept this without question is virtually beyond belief to me, but at the same time, understandable, given the levels of propaganda, but also rather frightening. Now, there's so many layers to this story. The initial claims of the White House, they have backtracked on their initial claims, such as the fact that they allege that Obama and his security team watched the assassination live. Now they have since recanted that, stating that there was a 20-minute blackout at the time of the raid on the video feed. Now, this is obviously rather suspicious. Why would it black out? The U.S. government always wants to promote and foment nationalist fervor, and so you would think they would want to show the footage in its entirety. The fact that it would black out at this very second, rather suspicious, or that period is rather suspicious. Second is the fact that they initially said that he had used his wife as a human shield, and then they said that bin Laden had used his wife as a human shield. They also recanted on that, stating that this was not the case. Now, regarding the burial at sea, they have stated that he was immediately buried at sea. Now, this is speculation, but it certainly seems like a very convenient way to get rid of the evidence before it's examined. And this brings me to another lie, which is the fact that they claimed it was a traditional Muslim burial, which was later proven to be false. Muslims are only buried at sea under certain circumstances. I can't recall precisely what those circumstances are, but it is definitely not a traditional Muslim burial, and and did not fit those specific circumstances of the raid. Now, there's the fact that, of course, this comes at a very opportune moment, that being the beginning of the 2012 election campaign. It has already boosted Obama's approval rating by 13%. And adding further credence to the fact that they would do this is the fact that Alex Jones, who I have my fundamental agreements with as well as my fundamental disagreements, but I'm inclined to think that he's overall benefiting the world or society, or however you want to put it. Alex Jones interviewed insider Steve Pieczenik, who has been an advisor and been very embedded in a variety of U.S. presidential administrations. Well, Pieczenik told him in 2001 or 2002, I cannot recall which, that he had, from inside White House sources, been made aware of the fact that Osama bin Laden was dead, and that they had his body and they would roll out his body at an opportune moment. Now, this was confirmed by Madeleine Albright and by other White House sources that radio host Alex Jones has spoken with, that they had his body, they froze it, and that they would roll it out at an opportune moment. So, this lends further credence to the notion that this was not as we were told, the official story regarding his death. What else? There is the fact that bin Laden was on dialysis at a U.S. military hospital in 2001 or 2002, and for kidney failure, and this is typically a fatal condition. And I believe there was another condition, I can't recall the name, that White House and individuals in the upper echelons of government have stated or have confirmed that he had another rather serious condition. It may have been the same kidney condition, I'm not entirely sure, but it was in any case a rather severe condition that he was expected to die from. And then there are numerous government officials, aside from the ones that told Alex Jones and aside from the ones that Steve Pieczenik referred to, that have long stated, as early as 2001 or 2002, that Osama bin Laden's dead. That he's certainly dead, that this is common knowledge in the CIA, etc. Furthermore, we have had numerous mainstream media reports and other reports of bin Laden's death over the years. So to make particular note of this one, while perhaps the most sensationalized and on the surface the most perhaps credible, like in terms of they had a full story, the fact that he was assassinated at his compound, etc., etc., etc. Perhaps the most initially on the surface credible in that regard, but the fact that we would place credence on this one over and above all the other instances where his death was reported is a bit suspicious, to say the least. And the fact that, what else was I going to say? I can't remember the other point I was going to make in terms of that. If I think of any other facets to this on the quote-unquote conspiratorial front, I will bring those to light. But then we have a whole other aspect of this, that even if we are to assume that he was killed on May 1st of 2001, even if we are to just accept the government who's routinely lied to us, who's engaged in various illegal wars, who is gradually setting up a domestic police state to control and enslave each and every one of us, even if we are to trust this government, that they indeed killed bin Laden on May 1st, 2011. Oh, I just remembered the other point on the conspiratorial front, and that is that numerous people, or quote-unquote, I mean, the fact that you'd consider this a conspiratorial approach is absurd because it's based in reasonable questioning and critical thinking, but it is the fact that numerous individuals who lived near the compound have stated that they don't believe it. For instance, one individual was interviewed on Al Jazeera, and he stated that, I would have, I pass the compound on a regular basis, and strangers are always, or new individuals who move into the town are always identified, and they have security services that ID people, etc. And while not conclusive, I mean, numerous individuals who live in the area are completely incredulous with regard to the U.S. government's claim that they assassinated him. And that brings me to another contradiction that the U.S. government has said. They have said that he was that the compound was a very wealthy, elaborate facility, and then others have said, no, this is absolutely not the case. I've been in the compound. It's run down. It is not well maintained, at least the portion he was staying in. So another contradiction in the official story there. Now, with regard to before I bring in the other questions in terms of the injustice of the assassination, even if we are to accept it, I want to address the fact that the implications, and one of the major implications is the fact that they're using it as a way to expand the war on terror, or will likely use it as a way to expand the war on terror. We're already seeing the justifications. Pakistan should have known that bin Laden was there. They should have been doing it. They should have cracked down on him. They should not be harboring terrorists in this regard, etc. And the U.S. is obviously going to use that as a justification to launch more drones in Pakistan, murdering innocent people, and perhaps, God forbid, I don't believe in God, but, heaven forbid, I'm just using those religious terms, but God forbid that they actually launch a more full-scale ground invasion of Pakistan in which countless individuals are killed. Don't put anything past these murdering thugs in government, but I certainly hope it's not the case. But if nothing else, they'll just use it as an excuse to further legitimize the current drone strikes, which, as we know, have killed numerous innocent people. They've bombed weddings, etc., etc., etc. And, of course, it is an invasion of Pakistan's sovereignty. As long as they claim that the people they killed are terrorists, they feel that they have carte blanche to send unmanned drones into Pakistan and murder people. Now, with regard to the quote-unquote non-conspiratorial approach, let's just accept that this lying, murderous government is telling the whole truth with regard to what they allege occurred on May 1st, 2011, a few weeks ago, or a week and a half ago. No, I believe now it is 2 weeks ago as of today, as of Saturday, May 14th. It's early morning currently, past midnight of the 13th. But let's just assume that they indeed killed bin Laden on that date. Now, we come to the fact that it was an extrajudicial assassination, which is illegal under international law, and is should not be tolerated, given the fact that bin Laden has not been subject to a fair trial. That's what you do when there's a criminal who's accused of a crime. That was rather redundant. That's what you do when someone is accused of a crime. You put them through a fair trial. You do not assassinate them. You do not go into another country and assassinate them. Now, as some of you may know, there's virtually no conclusive evidence. I mean, there's no conclusive evidence, certainly. There's virtually no evidence whatsoever that that bin Laden was responsible for the 9/11 attacks. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to continue this on part 2 regarding the absurdity of the alleged bin Laden death.